let's get a little started. What happened last session, dude? Last
Dude,
session you were
last session,
trapped in some sunlight,
yeah,
and then you were speaking with Vaku about just how she was saying how you had taken down or basically done most of the work against this Zhujian fellow or to clear out
yeah,
the cave, and she was, saying that that was quite amazing from you. And then she was like, "Oh, hold on one second," and then she removed the sunlight transportation for your three companions, making them fall from the sky apparently to their deaths, which is pretty fucking crazy. And so that was a
yeah.
wild experience for you. But she kind of waved it off. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, were you close with those people? That kind of way. But you were, uh, she tasked you with taking care of the Yetis that were on the bottom floor. Uh, her library, her previous library, kind of been taken over by some Yetis. And you kind of were in this position where you're like, oh, well, I can't really fucking do nothing about that. So you agreed. She did say that she would give you her blessing if you completed this task. And she said if you continued helping her, then she would get you down and also help perhaps get rid of the Tense of Luck, which is something that you had brought up as a possibility of something that you would want from her. So kind of in the state, you fought some Yetis. One of them you kind of pushed over for Vaku to shoot a sunlight beam to break a giant bowl of fire and have it land on top of a Yeti that just crushed them. And then you fought in hand-to-hand combat another Yeti who you tripped repeatedly, and it was unable to get up from how dazed it was because it kept hitting its head on the ground.
Yeah.
And then you were finally able to take it down after it was trying to run away, but Vaku trapped it in a sunlight beam bouncing off of the ceiling. And you are finally able to kill it. Your rage kind of wears off. You are breathing heavily after you kind of, even after the Yeti is dead, just punching the fuck out of it just to really ensure that it is dead. And now you're just breathing heavy and chilling out. Is there anything you want to say as you're kind of calming down, or no?
Um,
Just to give you the first
Alden's,
word if you want to say anything.
ooh, this is important. Alden's just panting,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, in Daniel Day-Lewis's
Mm-hmm.
voice,
Yeah.
"I'm finished," Um, and then just looks over at Vaku.
Mm-hmm. I drink your milkshake.
I drink your milkshake.
I need to rewatch that movie. I've been meaning to. But anyway, you see Vaku is starting to approach you. Vaku's like, remember, a little goblin witch. She's wearing this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
these purple
yeah.
robes, a little purple little witch hat, and she's walking up, and she looks delighted. She is smiling, this kind of strange goblin smile, and says, "Well done, Alden. Yes, that was such a delight to see. You are truly quite a strong fellow. Great job, Alden." And she's kind of just walking up and congratulating you. How do you respond?
I say, I'm still breathing, and I just
Mm-hmm.
sort of look over at her and I go, "Oh, thanks. Do you have anything that can, I don't know, repair me?"
She says, "Ah, yes. Well, that is in regards to your blessing. Do you want my blessing? It can heal you up, or it can heal you up.
Yeah.
Heal your spirit."
Yeah. Yeah.
She says, "Well, then come follow me. Come follow me too." the edge of this room that is open up to the sunlight. And she kind of just
Mm-hmm.
starts walking this way, and I'll say that the uh, the yellow beam of light kind of goes away, and the gigantic yeti was kind of leaning up against it. And as soon as the sunlight beam disappears, just kind of the top half of his body just slams onto the ground as its dead weight lays down, as you have obviously
Uh,
killed it.
Alden
But she is
follows her,
walking away. Okay.
and as he's walking,
Yes.
he's gonna grab his beard and wring it out. You know, like you would a towel with
Mm-hmm.
blood. There's just blood
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah, I'm
blood and
sure there's
sweat.
blood, there's some sweat, there's some puke in there from your
Yeah, some
acid.
acid.
Yeah, so God, that must smell so
That
bad.
thing reeks.
It
Yeah,
does. It does.
he does not bathe.
No one likes to get near Alden. But Vaku is kind of walking over to this edge. Is there anything as you're walking over, do you ask, or are you kind of just catching your breath?
Uh, I'm gonna say, why is there a giant hole in here? How did these Yetis get in here?
She kind of looks over at you, Alden, as y'all are walking over, and she says, "You know, that is a great question. From all of my visions as I was looking over my place from, well, my patron's realm, suddenly one night it was just a gigantic hole was here, and I'm
Ooh,
not entirely
ooh,
sure
wait,
how it
ooh, ooh,
happened."
ooh. We're cutting in and out. Okay, she's not
Oh,
entirely sure how it happened. I got that part. Yep.
yes, yes, she was at her patron's place. She's not entirely sure. Just one night, she looked back at this place, and suddenly there was a giant hole in the side, and there were at least 3 or 4 Yetis within this place. So I'm not sure how they got here, to be honest with you, but I'm
Wait,
going to have to
wait,
repair
were
it.
you in here when that happened? Or
She shakes her head and she says, "No, unfortunately, I was in my patron's realm looking back at my place. I was
oh,
unfortunately not able to come back because of Zhujan and all of that
uh,
fellow's
uh,
dealings. Very
okay.
ancient magic that unfortunately I was just
Uh,
not able to combat against."
Alden's holding himself as he's speaking. But speaking of that, I'm kind of curious. Why, besides making a giant storm and giving him power, do you have any gripes against Jujan and his patron, or is there any divine clash there? I'm not well versed on the religious arts.
She's nodding and she kind of furrows her brow and she says, "Well, I don't like that he took over my home for whatever his silly deeds were. I'm not entirely sure what his plans were, creating some kind of blizzard, but he was using ancient magic and ancient, some kind of crystals overtaking my bath. I didn't really particularly like it, taking over my home, so I would say that
Oh,
I certainly have a feud with him, but you, she kind of chuckles, you took care of him."
yeah. That primal magic you mentioned, is that something that's kind of easy, or you
And
know?
she says, "Well, to be honest, I don't know, but I do know that, well, it's even older than my own patron. When I've spoken to him about it, he appears to have a quite disliking for the stuff, and I certainly don't like it, considering the person that took over my home was using it. But uh, this thing is these crystals and this magic is somehow even older than the deities themselves, which I scarcely think is a good sign at all. So I certainly don't like it, but not a lot of people use it, so I'd imagine it's pretty hard to control."
Right, right. And these crystals, where are they now? Did you destroy all of them just to make sure this never would will be able to happen again? Sorry, my mind's fuzzy with the blood loss.
She says, "No, unfortunately, I can't get rid of the crystals. It appears to be in very small quantities in the snow up on top of this mountain, but uh, I know that no one else will be. I'm going to beef up the defenses here and make sure that no one else gets into my home as quickly as Zhujan did.
Okay. Well, definitely not taking note of that. But anyway, um,
She says, "Good, you shouldn't. It's not good magic. We should stick to only the magic that comes from the divine, yes?" And she kind of
only
is looking
that.
at you.
What about you know, say Felix's the people you killed, my compatriots? I don't think any of them were particularly religious. They were using. I think Felix was using nature magic, and Vita had that moon thing in his eye, or apparently from some demon that you wanted to kill. And then Erland seemed to just kind of make the magic from a mirror. So,
She says, "Well, I do know that Turlon deals in that kind of magic, which, to be honest, is probably a good thing that they're dead. But Felix and Vida, those two, they did definitely draw their magic from the divine, even if they didn't think they did."
um, you're for sure. You're sure they're dead. You genuinely killed these people in front of me. People that came into your home, helped me kill those guys, and gave it back to you. Ultimately, doing a good deed, and you killed them.
She she kind of gives you this
I,
face. Look at the
it hasn't
camera.
really
Yeah, you
registered.
go.
I thought it was. I sort of brushed it off in the moment because I was coming down from being trapped in a sphere of light, but you know, my brain's kind of cooling off, so it's things are. I'm sort of registering what the gravity of the situation that just occurred.
She kind of looks at you with this face, like this, like open eyes, just kind of nodding along, and she kind of puts her hand on, she's very short. She's like 2, 3 feet tall, so she like kind of reaches up to grab like your arm or something, just rest her hand there, and she says, "I understand, Alden, but yes, I really did kill those people. I'm sorry if they were close to you, but you must understand that it was for the better."
Uh, I just think if you would fully explain why, I'd be more content with accepting this because while they were particularly nice to me, it still seems, and I wasn't their friend or anything. I'm just still sort of in disbelief, I suppose.
She
And
says, "Yeah."
and another thing is, if it was that easy, I mean, could you teach me how to do that sort of thing? Teleport people at will? Can you fly? Can you teach me how to fly?
She says, "Well, Alden, to be honest with you, from my perspective, I would have let you all down back to the ground as you so could have been, but the three of the others, not you so much, but I'll give you a pass, Alden, but the three others were very against me right from the beginning. They kept defending this Vita fellow as if he didn't do all of you know, these things that could really potentially put quite a lot of people, including my deity, at harm. So I thought, well, it is better if they weren't in this world. And she kind of looks at you just like this blank stare, as if like she didn't say
No.
this absolutely nuts thing.
Okay. Well, I did watch the most recent episode of Sumia, so I know they're alive. But
She says, "Hmm."
no, but I just kind of look at her and say, after this blessing thing, can I ask you a few more questions about Vita? He showed me his moon without question. I'm sort of interested in what deal he has going on. And then I'd
she,
also like to discuss the other agreement we made, which is about burning something. But
at the
we can
mention,
get to it later.
yeah,
Sorry,
at
at this point I'm it's really starting to the pain settling in. So
the mention of the moon that you bring up with Vita, she kind of rolls her eyes and she says, uh, "Ah, yes, his moon eye, I'd imagine a sign that he has been helped by, excuse me, I don't want to say the right name, by Sulon. that goddess of moons, and she kind of looks like,
Oh,
her kind of furrows her brows, but she looks at you,
oh.
she says,
See, okay, now that
so,
makes sense. That now it's starting to add up because you're the sunlight witch, and he likes the moon. So now it's that the pieces are coming together.
yes, we are within the same aspect, and am not a fan of that Sulan. And well, the
But
others, but especially the
I'm
Sulan.
curious why though, because it's isn't the light that hits the moon the same light that comes from the sun?
And she points at you and she says, "Yes, exactly, and they take it for themselves. They think that they produce any light, but they do not. It comes all from the sun." And she starts pointing to herself.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I once had let's say family member of mine sort of take everything away from me and pass it off as their own. So yeah, I see where it's coming from. Yeah,
She's nodding her head. She says, "Yes, you get it. You get it, Alden. Well, let me give
yeah.
you my blessing, and we can discuss more. I know you are hurting, and this will quite help you." And she
Okay,
kind of reaches out her hand and she says, "Please take my hand, Alden."
okay. Take your hand. I
Yeah,
feel like I kind of have to bend over to grab it, but I
yeah,
take it.
exactly. Yeah, she kind of reaches up, so you're able to grab it just by resting your arm at your side.
E.T.
And she says, "Please face the sunlight with me." And you're both kind of
Okay.
standing at the edge here. Uh, and she says, "Repeat after me after I say it, please." And she
Wait,
says,
Steven, one
"Yeah, you
question.
go, you go."
Is this hole,
hmm
is this on the side of a huge cliff or anything? Or is it just kind of a gentle slope?
So it's kind of got like what you're seeing here is kind of maybe 10, 15 feet of like what would have been wall of a mountain, right? Like here's
Mm-hmm.
the inside of the room and then like maybe the outside of the mountain and then
Yeah.
it's just straight cliff face. Like it's as if there's just a giant hole with like these big like 20-foot thick uh yeah, 20-foot thick like walls that have been blown through. So it
Okay.
is just
Just
straight up a
curious.
cliff.
Just curious.
You know. So yeah, so it's not like a plateau here. You are still at the top of this very tall, one kind of singular mountain, like the Vaku's Peak, right? It's on this very tall mountain out of a series of other mountains.
Yeah.
You're still very high up. But she says, "Repeat after me," and she's kind of looking forward, and you can see as you look at her, she's kind of closing her eyes, just standing forward. Do you close your eyes at all, or are you just kind of looking, facing the sun?
Uh, I keep my eyes open and I face towards the sun.
Okay. And she says,
You're
she
right
said,
into it.
right into it. She says, just start blinding yourself. She says, "I am." She says, "Repeat after me," and she says, "I can feel the warmth of the sunlight on my skin.
I can feel the warmth of the sunlight on my skin.
I can feel it warm my soul within."
I can feel it. I can feel it warm my soul within.
Within. She says, "Very good, Alden. Very good." Uh,
Very good, Alden. Very good.
that's funny. Uh, she uh, she kind of pauses for a moment, and then she says, I will let the warmth enter deeper."
I will let the warmth enter deeper.
Uh, wait, I don't want to forget it. One second. Where the fuck is it? One second. I had this written down.
Yeah, it's fine. You're good. I'm just gonna browse Reddit.
Alright, I really can't fucking find it. I thought I had it in a place maybe it didn't save or maybe I
Improv,
wrote it somewhere else.
improv.
She will say, uh, it's one more line, whatever it was, I can't remember it, but she's going to say, "I now accept the blessing from the witch."
I now accept the blessing from the witch.
As soon as you finish this saying, you can feel, as the warmth of the sun was obviously hitting your skin, but you can now, almost as described, the when you're hot, right, you can kind of feel your skin being warmed, right, by the sun,
Hmm.
right? You can feel
Yeah.
that. In this moment, as soon as you say witch, it just seeps down into, like, almost into your bones. Like, just you are now warm, not hot, I'll say, but you are
Yeah.
just warm within your body. And you were standing at this cliffside very high up. It was probably a little bit chilly, right? And the sun was kind of feeling nice. In this moment right now, you feel no chill. You do not
Oh.
feel cold at all. It's just this warm. You can feel the sunlight hitting you, and it doesn't just warm your skin a little bit, it warms your entire body. And I will say that you
Oh.
will heal.
Oh.
How many levels are you? You are level 5. So you will heal 5d12.
Oh, that feels good.
Oh, that feels good. Uh, you heal 30 damage from this blessing,
Damn.
or 30 health from this blessing. And Vaku then opens her eyes and she looks up at you, still holding your hand, and she says, "Do you feel it, Alden?"
Well, I feel something.
And she says, "Great, then you accepted the blessing. That is fantastic." And
Am I indebted in any way after this?
she shakes her head. She says, "No, Alden, you have done me a
All right.
great deed by putting on quite a great show, defeating that Yeti, and clearing out the rest of my home. I am quite impressed with you, so this was just a gift from me to you."
Oh, thank you. Huzzah.
And she
I just
says,
don't want any more baggage.
she says, "Oh, I understand all about baggage." And she kind of looks out to the opening. And she looks right back at you and she says, "Well, now with my blessing, I'll say that if you are ever within the sunlight, or at least were in it recently, you shall never feel cold again."
Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. Really? That's kind of incredible. But hang
She's,
on, though. Wait. I'll never feel cold, but like, will I get cold? I just won't. I just will I get frostbite, but I just won't feel it.
she says, "You should still definitely try and cover up so you don't get frostbite.
Okay.
But yes, you
Well,
will not
I guess
feel
that's
cold, but you
convenient
could
for long
still
hauls in a carriage, but yeah. Oh,
you
that's
you
incredible.
you still you can still get hurt from cold. Don't worry. You are not immune. I do not have that kind of power, but you
Okay.
now, as long as you have been in the sunlight recently, you will feel warm." And I will say
Alden
that
sticks his hand in
there
the
you go.
snow right in front of him and just holds it on there for probably way longer than he should.
Yeah, I can't like, before you would feel kind of this cold against your skin, but I'll say, I mean, it's like, I don't know, like I've never been struck by lightning, obviously, but like the people that have been struck by lightning just say that like
Yeah.
they don't get
Well,
cold, right? Like
that's what I was
they just
thinking
don't
of.
perceive it. It's exactly like that. So
Huh.
like you would put
Huh.
your hand in the cold and it's, maybe at most it's like room temperature, like you don't
Well,
feel like warm.
that's gonna help with the nipples in the cold, but all right, that's pretty impressive.
She kind of chuckles. And I'll say mechanically, uh, if you have been in the sunlight for at least an hour, for the next 24 hours, you will be, like, even if you go into a cave or you sleep inside or something, you will be warm. So like that's how I'm
Uh,
doing it essentially, is if you're in the sun, it kind of like charges up, as it were. Which I think there's going to be very rare cases that's not going to happen, but just know that if you're not in the sunlight for long enough,
sure.
then you'll
Yeah,
start to
it's
feel cold.
2 days underground in a cave. I
Yeah,
get you.
exactly. So it's not indefinite,
That's
but
awesome.
yes.
I'd kill for that in real life,
Yeah,
man. That'd be
no,
awesome.
yeah, real life
Imagine
that
just
would be. Awesome.
airplanes, freezing to death, just not getting
Hmm.
uncomfortable. Oh,
Yeah, you're
that's
just
pretty
you're
good.
just you're just not cold, dude. You've gotten maybe the others could have gotten this if they weren't so
If
mean,
they didn't die, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
But she says you had some questions, did you?
oh yeah. Um, I kind of lost track of all of them. I'm sort of coming down from the whole fact that I just don't feel cold anymore.
Yeah,
But yeah.
understandable.
So Vita's moon, what's up with that? I mean, what was up with that? He's dead now, but
You mean his eye?
yeah, well, yeah, his eye moon.
So, well, from the way I understand it, uh, Vita, or, well, Zell was his name, but Vita now, whatever, uh, came to, uh, came to Sulan, uh, begging to be revived. And throughout the revival process, Sulan, this is the way that she has described it. Apparently, I haven't heard it from her herself, but through that revival process, there had to have been a part taken away from Vita to be replaced by something from Sulan. So his eye was replaced by a moon.
Okay. Um, you're saying somebody else came to Sulan and asked for revival, and then he was reincarnated or reborn as the person we now know or used to know as Vita?
She kind of, does this with her head, and she says, something like that. It is still the same person, but
Was he faking it then? Was he faking the memory loss?
she opens her eyes and she says, I sure hope it was real because, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter anyway now because he's dead, but if he were to remember any of the things that he did before going to Sulan, that could mean real danger if that knowledge were
Oh,
ever to get to the bad, to, excuse me, to worse people.
uh, well, if he has a piece, are you sure he's dead? What if he's alive?
She says, well,
All
you,
three of them can use magic pretty well. Not as well as me, but all three of them could use magic. You know, what if there was something, a spell they could use to stop themselves from hitting the ground?
she says, well, you knew the three the best. Do you know that? Do you think they could have survived a fall from a couple thousand feet in the air?
No, I don't think so. We needed parachutes when we flew in from the burst. Uh, but I don't
She's
know. Sometimes they would just pull a rabbit out of a hat. Not literally, but I mean that would be a pretty cool trick. I don't think anyone's ever done that, but
yeah, write that down.
I don't know. So,
She
eh,
says,
I'm sure it's
well,
fine.
she says, well, I believe that they are dead. I am going to go under that assumption, and if they are not dead, then they are certainly very hurt and in a worse place now.
Okay. Well, good to know. If I ever find his corpse, I'll probably take the moon for myself and smash it with a hammer. How about that? So,
Her eyes open up. She says, yes, that would be great. Yes, absolutely. Smash every moon rock you can see, please.
okay. Um, well, I look
All
over
right,
at the
lady.
Yeti and it just sort of, I go, I just sort of, well, it's been a, uh, it's been a hell of a time. But do you have any other chores you need me to do, or can I start getting down the mountain, or
She says, yes, I do have actually a chore for you to do. And it involves going out there. And she points out to the open hole in
oh,
the wall.
I'm glad I can't feel cold anymore. What is it exactly?
She says, well, uh, it is a good thing you can't feel cold. That's part of the reason if you were able to survive the Yetis, which you obviously were, you took them down quite handily. You would get this blessing, and then you have one more, or I have one more chore for you. You see, everything else that was in here, I could get back in some way. I'll repair this place, but there is one thing that. She kind of pauses for a moment. She says, I can't really get myself, and I'm going to need you to get it if you can.
Well, what is it, and why can't you get it yourself? No, no disrespect. I'm just curious.
She says, well, it's a bracelet that was given to me a long time ago, and, well, I would very much like it back. It is my bracelet. Uh, but unfortunately, within these mountains, I am not the only deity that resides here. There is another deity that I don't entirely know for sure, but I'm almost 100% positive that they are the one with this bracelet.
You want me to go steal a bracelet from a god, and you
She
don't know which god?
she nods her head and she says, "Oh, I do know which god. It's the Nightmare. Have you ever heard of them?"
The fucking what? Hang on, I gotta look at the list of deities I know. Scroll up a little bit.
You do not know the Nightmare.
No, I can't say I do. Why the hell are they called the Nightmare?
Well, they they like to give nightmares to people. Some
Oh,
mortals say that it is entirely because of them. That's not entirely true, but they do reside on top of this mountain and are prone to give other people some nightmares. Do you have lots of nightmares, Alden?
Alden stares. It's a 1,000-yard stare as he recollects almost every day of sleep he's ever had, and how many times he's been tormented by his classmates in those dreams, his younger brother, and now metal men. He just goes, "No, most of my dreams are rather pleasant."
She nods, looking at you. She says, "Well, then I think that you'll be in a pleasant surprise once you meet the nightmare."
Well, all right. I'm not worried about it in the slightest. A name like that, well, that's nothing. I've done the Shadow Room. I've killed 2 giant yetis, so I think
She
with this new blessing as well, in my proficiency in magic, I'll be quite you know prepared for this. But my question is, does this bracelet, why is it so significant? Who gave it to you, and does it do anything special?
she kind of was nodding along with everything you were saying, and then when you asked that question, she says, "Oh, well, that's kind of personal, so I don't would rather not share, but I will
Oh,
say
come
that
on, you can
it
tell me. I'm Alden.
you go and roll a diplomacy check for me."
Come on. You know me.
You know me. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty high.
Yeah,
Uh, she says she looks like, even though she's like this uh, old goblin lady,
yeah.
you can see just for a moment that, just like, human to human, you can tell that you're getting to her, that you're trying to convince her of something, and she says, "Well, I'll tell you this. It was from a previous lover in a past life. How about that?"
Ooh, juicy. Now we're getting somewhere.
And she says, "But that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. But I would really
Uh,
rather like it back. I just can't go get it myself. Not from the nightmare."
what? Are you scared of him? You got bad dreams?
She says, "No, scared is not the right word, but I just have other things to do, and I think that if you can get back this bracelet for me, I think that's more than enough to allow you to get back down and then burn the
Okay.
tents of luck, which is what you wanted
Yes,
for."
yes. I meant to ask you about that. It's been on the tip of my tongue the whole time, front of my brain. I wanted to
Yeah.
bring this up and ask you. Yes, when I get down from the mountain in exchange for getting this bracelet back, is there any way I can contact you when the time is right to burn down the tents of luck?
She raises her eyebrows. She says, "You don't want it right away?"
I kind of want to save it for when I'm there, just so I can see it for myself. But uh, Yes. Yeah. I don't necessarily need it right now. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it happen in person. There's someone I want to look in the eyes when it happens.
She kind of squints her eyes and she says, I don't know if that you can contact me, but I can set up a time for you, for instance, at the time of the first light of the morning of after you, whenever you get back.
That would be perfect. I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take me to get back, so I need to look at a map later. But yes, that sounds good.
She says, okay, well, we will discuss the details, but first you have to go and get this bracelet from the nightmare. How does that sound?
Absolutely. After this, I'm so set on getting that bracelet. It'll be, I'll bring back a bracelet as well as, a million other little goodies. So yeah, anything you want, as long as you just burn down those tents.
She says, well, burn down the tents I can certainly do, so how about I get you down there? And she starts walking towards the edge, kind of walking over some snow that is piled in to the edge, and you see very similarly to when she start doing these hand motions, and then does a very sharp motion, and you see that a beam of light suddenly comes from the sky straight down, and then bounces off of what appears to be like this invisible shield that she has created in front of you, and it bounces towards the rest of the mountain range. Kind of where behind, like y'all flew towards the mountain range, the rest of the mountain range is behind.
Hmm.
And she has a beam of light, much like the other people had walked into to float down. She has created another one. And she kind of steps back and she says, well, once you go down there, there should be an entrance to a cave where the nightmare resides. I have never been there myself, so I can tell you I don't know what you should expect, but I know that you are able to do it if you took down these Yetis.
Okay. Oh, how do I get back, by the way?
She says, that's a great question. I will be waiting for you. I'll be checking
Uh,
periodically. I can see it. And she kind of points down. And if you look over the edge at all, you would see that where kind of the light beam goes towards, it's towards the others, like another one of the smaller mountains that's down the mountain range. You can see it from this height.
okay. Well, you've held up your end of the bargain so far, so I'll trust you. But all right, I'll be on my merry way.
She says, well, good luck, Alden. And she kind of just stands there, like holds
I
her arm out for you to go into the sunlight beam.
I slowly walk into the beam.
Mm. As soon as you kind of take a step into the beam, you can feel it start to pull you, not at a very fast speed, but at a decently fast speed through the air. And I will say it's a very odd experience as you can feel the warmth of you being in this sunlight, not only just because you can't feel cold right now, but because you are within a beam of sunlight. You start kind of floating in the air. Nothing, all of a sudden, nothing is below you, but you are floating through the air and rapidly approaching the side of another one of these mountains within this mountain range. Is there anything you do while floating, or just riding the experience? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, my VPN dropped, so
Okay. What's the last thing you
yeah.
got?
Literally the first thing you started describing as soon as I walked into the light.
Okay, so yeah, you feel the warmth of the light around you as all of a sudden there is no ground beneath you and you start floating towards the other another like side of the mountain at like a almost like a 60-degree angle towards the what's the word? Towards another mountain within the range, but
Yeah.
at a much lower height. Is there anything you do while you're floating there?
How fast am I floating?
Probably like 30 miles per hour. It's a
Oh,
good
I'm pretty
speed.
quick.
And it's
Yeah.
pretty quick, but not like you're gonna get like pulled, but like it's certainly as soon as you get in, you start gaining speed and you're going
You know
decently
how
fast.
Ice King flies with his beard in Adventure Time where he
Mm-hmm.
flaps it like wings? I'm
Mm-hmm.
imagining something like that, but instead of wings with a beard, Alden's like a jellyfish with his cloak. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of just motioning up and down as he floats rapidly.
I love it. Yes, yeah, it's a very majestic, if anybody was watching.
Ah, I can't
Oh.
believe this is the way she killed my friends.
Yes, at any moment it could go away from you and
At any
plummet to your
moment, I
death.
could plummet to my death, just like the three other people. Wow,
Yes.
that's something.
Yeah. And as you're floating, you can see to your right. You know, you got a kind of a scenic view as you can see to your right. Uh, to your right, you see the Zaroon Dunes, which are these vast expanses of
Mm,
uh, desert sands, but in the sky above is the storm that just the previous night you all killed Jujon, and the storm kind of you know, drifted away, and the storm is now just kind of over cloaking most of the Zaroon dunes that you see to the right, like everything within
huh,
your peripheral vision. And you see in the clouds kind of this flashing blue light of like almost this blue lightning, so you can see that to the right. And then to your left, you see a place that I don't think that Alden has ever seen, but it is the Yitek Wilds, which I'll bring you to the Sumia map,
yeah, I wanted to.
or the Yimba Wilds, sorry,
Yimba.
Yitek Floods. But Alden is kind of where he is right here. He's kind of like floating to a nearby mountain, and you can see to his right, he sees the Zaroon Dunes,
Yeah,
and to his left, he sees kind of the Yimba Wilds, which is this kind of jungle
is that
atmosphere.
yeah. As
Yeah.
Alden's looking over at the dunes, he
Mm.
thinks to himself, "Oh boy, I hope no one's really getting screwed over by the storm." Huh.
Something to think about. Uh,
Yeah.
as you are floating down, you see the Yimba Wilds to your left, which are kind of these jungle lands, very dense, very deep green, like the Tilgi Forest had kind of this, normal
Right.
green like forest, but like this is a very
It's a lot more
deep
humid, a lot
green.
thicker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe you see kind of like some fog within the trees. It's this very interesting biome to the left, which is the Yimba Wilds. But as you are floating to the other mountain, I will say we're gonna stick on this map for a little bit. We're gonna go a little bit theater of their mind for a moment. And as you start floating down, you start getting to kind of this jut out of a side of a mountain that's covered in snow. And as you land down, probably like 100 feet in front of you, you see this cave entrance that's black within. Like there's no light or anything within, just the sunlight. There's just no only refracted light is entering this cave as it just kind of goes deep into this mountain, and it's like 100 feet in front of you as you kind of land into the snow. Once again, your feet touching the ground, and you do not feel the chill of the air. I mean, you're on top of a mountain right now. You can imagine that you're very cold at this moment, which you probably were as you were kind of like flying towards Vaku's peak. But in this moment, you feel quite warm because you're in the sun.
That's still really cool. Alden gets down to the cave and sees just the other utter side of it. he starts to have second thoughts immediately about doing this stupid job for a stupid bracelet. Uh, and he wants to take a look around the entrance to see if there's any sort of path,
Hmm.
alternative path down the
Okay.
mountain.
Yeah, give me
Kind
a
of
perception check for
scope things out a little bit.
me. Mm-hmm.
Perception? You want me to what?
I want you to
What is that?
perceive, dude. I want you to perceive.
I'm just gonna roll a reflex because my I rolled the wrong thing. Anyway, it's a 19, same value.
19. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Um, with a 19, it's a clear day. The storm is no longer there. The storm has moved off to the Saroon Dunes, so it's kind of this clear day. And you can see that to the left there is uh, no path. It's just this sheer cliff down the side. It's kind of this jut out. Kind of think like, is it Minas Tirith? Or like the
Yeah, it's Minas Tirith,
like
giant
where
cliff
Denethor like
face.
jumped off the thing. Yeah, like that. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking like that. Like the left side of that is just this giant cliff face, just straight down. But to the right side, there does appear to be maybe like this thin path. It kind of curves around some edges, so you're not entirely sure if it continues going on. But there is this kind of path that you could theoretically walk on
Okay. I'm gonna
instead
take
of going
one
in the
look up
cave.
to the cliff face I came from, the beam of light that I came from.
Mm-hmm.
How far away is that? Because this is an
I'll
entire mountain range. That's pretty far.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly when you look back at Vaku's Peak, it is, Vaku's Peak. I don't know if I still have the drawing. I do not, but Vaku's Peak is like probably a good like 1,000, 2,000 feet taller than all the other mountains. It's this
Okay.
own like spike, so you're looking, a good distance away, but you're probably looking up at like, a 50, like 60-degree angle of you have you're looking up at this tall mountain that is a decent distance away, but it's more taller than it is further away, right? Like the vertical distance is higher than it is
Yeah.
horizontally. So you kind of like travel down at a slower pace than if you had obviously just like fallen from that height.
Okay. Oh God. Oh jeez.
Oh, God.
Uh. Okay. Well, maybe then Mr. Nightmare Man will help me burn down the tents of luck too. Uh. And Alden's gonna mark in his brain that there's a semi escape route in case he chickens out or, realizes his magic doesn't have any effect.
Mm-hmm.
And he is gonna light a torch and go into the cave.
All right, awesome. I will say as you start entering the cave, uh, the walls of the cave, are you sticking near a wall or are you kind of just going dead center? What's your kind of game plan?
I'm walking dead center and looking all around nervously.
Okay. I'll say as you start walking forward, the cave kind of goes down at a slight angle. So as you're walking in, the sunlight behind you is, it's getting dimmer and dimmer in here, and soon you can kind of just see the walls of the cave reflecting the light of your torch. As you're getting deeper and deeper, you probably travel like 100, 150 feet. Do you do anything different? There seems to be no change. I mean, it's snow at the beginning, but then it becomes this like just this uh, stone like it's almost I'll say kind of smooth stone. Like it's not like this
Yeah.
rocky. You kind of have to watch your feet. It's like this very like eroded stone is the best way I
Well, I
could
was about
put
to
it. Like
say, this is a
smooth.
cave of an apparent deity. Are there
Mhm.
any markings on the wall, or is there any sign of activity?
I'll say, give me a perception check as you're kind of walking through, looking at the walls and everything.
Perception? You want me to what?
I want you to perceive.
Ah, I can't do that.
I will say, yep, 21. I'll say as you are walking down for quite a decent bit, there are no markings. But you're looking at the walls, you don't see any markings, but then you start looking at the ground. And the smooth ground is as you're walking, you can kind of feel like there's little ridges. And as you look down at the ridges, you can see that within the ground is no longer this smooth, just stone. It has these carvings of just a whole bunch of swirls. Like I'll say, like a swirl like this, and then there's another swirl that's kind of connected to it. Like I think,
Uh,
like have you ever seen those like 1950s like bed covers that have a whole bunch of just kind of swirl like plant looking
you talking about
swirls with like
paisley?
little
Oh,
flowers,
yeah, paisley.
maybe.
It's that. I know what you're
Yes,
talking about. It's not
exactly. Yeah,
flowery, but
paisley.
flowers.
Yes, yeah, paisley. It looks a lot like this. Yeah, except
Oh,
no
yeah.
no flowers, but yeah, just these kind of interweaving little curls. That's a good word. I didn't know that was a word. But yeah, it's this design that is kind of carved into the ground, and I mean, these swoops are not like these little tiny, like 1 inch wide things, but they're probably like a good foot, 2 feet wide, or long, I should say. Like they're probably like an inch or two wide of carvings into the ground. But it is just the ground becomes much more intricate, and the walls are no longer intricate, but it's this ground has these carvings within it that kind of feel your feet digging into.
Yeah.
So you're obviously entering a place that does not have natural markings at this point as you're walking in deeper.
Does anything happen when I stare at the patterns on the ground? Do I start to feel woozy or like whoa, whoa, whoa?
Are you just standing there looking at them, or are you kind of just walking?
I'm doing both. I'm sort of staring at the floor while I'm walking now.
Mm-hmm. I'll say as you are walking, you do not start to feel queasy, but I will say that you feel this air pressure difference as you're walking. Maybe like,
Hmm.
20, 25 feet after you notice the carvings of you can feel like you have entered, with your footsteps hitting the ground, you feel like you have entered a much larger room than you were in before, right?
Ooh,
You can, when you walk into a large room, you can feel it. There's something about it that kind of has this echoey effect to it, and just your ears, you can feel it, and so you're not cold at all because you're still warm, but
yeah, I was in
you
sunlight.
feel, and there's almost like a little bit of like a wind. There's a draft suddenly in the room that is much
I
bigger.
say, I lift my torch up and I go, hello, hello.
I'll say when you say hello, it does not echo because you're just not saying it loud enough, but it's certainly as if you had said hello in like a ballroom or something,
A
like this large room, and if you had said
little bit of a
hello,
reverb.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can feel like it is not bouncing off anything for a while.
Um, at this
But
point,
there is no response. But yeah, you go.
there's no response.
Yep.
Um, has the floor pattern changed? I'm gonna start sticking to the right wall of the entrance, wherever that came from,
Okay.
um, and just sort of walk alongside of it with my hand on it, holding the torch in my left hand.
Okay. I'll say as you like you were looking down, you're kind of like walking with this pattern, and you look up and you feel like you're in this big room, and you turn to your right to be where the wall is, and you don't see a wall. So I'd presume you probably start walking towards like maybe where the wall is.
Yeah, I try to retrace my steps. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah, so you start walking towards where the wall is, and you walk a good 15, 20, 25 feet, and you're not finding a wall.
Oh, oh. I look all around me. Then what am I seeing? Just darkness? Because I have a
Yeah,
torch.
you are just in darkness right now. You can see the carvings of the floor, maybe a good 20, 30 feet around you, right? Of just this intricate pattern in the ground, but you know, before you could see kind of the walls of the caves, but after you look down for a while looking at the pattern and looking up, there are no walls to the caves, especially when you go to the right.
I say hello a little bit louder. I go, Hello?
You say hello
Hello?
louder and
Nightmare?
nightmare. You
Nightmare, nightmare,
say
nightmare.
exactly. You say hello and nightmare, and I will say when you say it, like, have you ever been in like a really quiet room where there's
Yeah,
no sound reflects, right?
right. One of those noise dampening new
The
rooms where,
noise dampening rooms. You notice as you say this, and maybe you take a couple steps, that it's like that. You
hmm,
say hello, and you expect any amount of, feeling like the sound is bouncing back at you, but it's as if not. The sound cuts off like that. Like you say hello, nightmare, and just as soon as you say it, there is no more sound after that. It's as if you are in a room that is too big, so big that there is nothing for sound to reflect off of.
oh god. Okay. Alden at this point realizes the escape route is a bust. He can't get out anymore. So he's gonna start kind of panicking a little and just kind of starts walking in one direction. And he's gonna give it a good 5 minutes to see if
Okay.
anything happens.
All right. I will say, which direction do you choose? It's up to you.
Again, the direction of the door because he feels as though that, well, maybe he just didn't realize how far he was actually
Hmm.
walking. So,
Start walking back towards the entrance, and I'll say after 30 seconds of walking, like you for sure should have met a wall
okay.
at something, but you are just now.
Oh.
I will activate it. You are now just within the nightmare. And I've activated, so here you are. Let me activate.
Fuck.
Fuck. Let me let me do
This in the
this.
shadow room. What the hell, man?
Let's
Oh,
do let's do 40, 20.
limbo. I'm in limbo.
Why did it turn it off? 1 second. Oh, okay, I didn't hit update. Stupid, stupid, stupid.
You stupid.
There we go. You are just walking through this void, and after about 30 seconds, is as if you were just in this giant empty room. What? You keep walking forward. What do you do?
Um, Alden does not keep walking forward at this point,
Okay.
and he's gonna just start to go. I'm all right. I get it. I'm here for a bracelet. Vaku sent me. Um, I know you're in here. I know you're in here.
And as soon as you finish saying, "I know you're in here," there's like a second of pause, and then you hear this deep voice all around you. Once again, not originating from in front of you or anything. You hear Alden Costello. What are you afraid of?
How do you know my name?
He says, this voice
No one
says,
knows my last name. How do you know my name?
the voice says, "It matters not how I know your name. What are you afraid of?"
Being too good at card tricks?
I am sorry, Alden, but that is incorrect. Perhaps it is spiders, and you hear this sound coming from in front of you as you see emerging from just the edge of the torchlight, these large legs start to loom forward towards you as you see a giant, probably like 6 foot wide spider. Think like the spider, yeah, like the medium sized spiders from that attacked the
Harry
car from
Potter.
Harry Potter. Yeah, like that.
Right,
Like a big
right.
spider, but not like fucking Aragog or whatever it was. The spider starts approaching, and you can see its pinchers going wildly. What do you do?
Not spiders. Nope, not afraid of those. You don't have to do that.
It starts to get closer to you. Do you do anything more?
I know it's not real. It's not real. None of this. It's not real.
Well, I will
I'm going
say
to kill it. I'm going to kill it. It's not real.
I'm going to say that we are going to enter combat. And this is going to roll initiative. Oh, it rolled a natural one. That's funny.
Oh god.
But I will say that the trapdoor gets to start its turn
Well, I still
as
have a rage on me.
you do.
I think.
It's, it's
Well,
not
initiative,
showing me.
perception. You roll. Oh, quick temper. You roll initiative.
Oh, here we
I
go.
don't know
Okay.
what that does. So long as you are able to move freely, your fury is instinctive and instantaneous. You rage. Oh, so I'm just
Oh, so well, yeah. So as
automatically
so
raged. Okay.
yeah, well, yeah. I think it's a free action you can see. So if you want to, I think you can
Okay. I'm
be
not gonna rage.
rage. Okay, yeah. I don't think you have to rage because that would probably be annoying if you had to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that the giant trapdoor spider is the name of it, but the giant spider is going to get its first round of attacks against you, so it's going to target you. Quick.
Oh.
You see this spider's legs starting, I fucking hate spiders, so the spider's legs start to kind of walking up, and its pinchers are going wildly, and it lunges forward at you as you're saying, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. It is going to roll to attack. Oh,
Damn.
a hit
Yep.
by 0. So close.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need you to, you see in the chat, I need you to roll a DC 18 Fortitude save. Do you see that in the
I
chat?
don't.
If not, I can put it. Here we go. You do this.
Okay, there it is.
Here we go. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. It says it's only for me as a DM. Okay, you do succeed.
Critical success.
I don't know why it's a crit. Oh, maybe you have
I roll a
something against. Did you roll a 20?
I roll a 7.
Roll 7, and then so you got plus 13, so that's a 20. The DC's 18. Maybe you have some feat or something against poison. Let's see.
Maybe. Not that I recall.
I'm fine with it. I'm just interested.
Yeah, I don't know.
Adrenaline rush, shake it off, maybe.
Maybe it'd shake it off. No, that's for like being
Yeah, that's
fearful or
what. Yeah,
something.
exactly. It's frightened.
What is toughness?
Toughness, maybe. No, that's just increased
No,
DC.
I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense since you have like the acid spit that maybe you're not as
I guess I don't know what that. I did inherited ancestry. I don't know what it is, but
That's
interesting.
fine. All right, but yeah, you get a plus, which is great in this instance. So you do critically succeed. So you do not take any damage. Uh,
All
or you do
right.
not get poisoned, but you can feel the attack. I did 11 damage, so you feel 11 damage as it attacks you with its fangs,
Oh,
and
ouch!
it's going to try and attack you 2 more times. Oh, just barely a miss, and it's going to attack you for a 3rd time, and that is a miss again, critical miss. So that is, it tries to bite at you 3 times, and one of it kind of nicks your arm, and it does hurt, but you can feel your body kind of pulsate against whatever. There's like kind of this green venom coming out of its fangs, and now it is your turn.
Fucker, it's real. I'm going to. I'm gonna whack it
I'm gonna
with
whack it.
have I have my torch in my one hand, so I'm gonna just whack it with one-handed twining staff.
Okay.
Oof, that was almost a
That's a hit.
1.
That's a hit.
Damage.
Roll damage. Hey,
Roll
roll
damage.
damage. Hey, roll that damage.
Roll that damage.
Oh, 7. Oh,
Yow.
Zoe mama.
Oh, man. And then, yeah. Hang on. I'm gonna. I'm gonna sheath my twining staff,
Okay.
which is an action, and then because I don't know, Alden got a hit on it. Didn't feel like it was beefy enough.
Okay.
Actually, wait, can I roll that back? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, yeah, roll back. Roll back. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry, stupid. He's just gonna hit it again,
Okay.
kind of like whacking this big bug with a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof. God damn, these these are brutal. Um, what is this? Um, oh, okay. Uh, anyway, and then he's gonna make an unarmed attack, and he's gonna like kick it.
Okay, he's gonna try and kick it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, you try and go and kick
Flailing
the
at each other, just
spider. Yeah.
flailing. Yeah.
Flailing, you see that your foot kind of goes in between the legs of the spider, but you do get one good hit in. And I will
Yeah.
say, and it is now the spider's turn. And uh, as you're kind of bracing for another attack, as you're kind of just trading blows, you see that the spider, is, kind of steps back a little bit and then goes in for a lunge. And as you kind of brace yourself, maybe squint your eyes a little bit for the attack, uh, it kind of just explodes into a bunch of dust in front of you, and just kind of dusts you with a whole bunch of dust that probably just like makes you cough a little
Oh,
bit, as
oh,
the spider is just no more, and you hear, as you're kind of recovering from that, you hear the voice say again, or say once, or speak once again, and says, not spiders, perhaps a snake. And you hear from
no,
behind you.
I just want the bracelet.
You hear from behind you this slithering and this kind of cracking sound as it's going across the snow. And as you look probably around, you see that there is uh, this kind of ice snake that is approaching you, kind of like in Skyrim, like those like ice wraiths that
Yeah, the
kind
ice
of float
wraiths.
through the
Yeah.
air, but it's like that, but it's kind of like slithering on
You
the
have.
ground towards you.
God damn it! No, I just want the bracelet.
It's slithering towards you.
Okay, this time I'm ready. I'm gonna get the
That's
jump on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll
Oh,
initiative.
yeah, I'll say let me make an encounter, and it will roll initiative.
Yeesh.
Yeesh. I will say that it will get one round of attacks in just before you're ready for it, so you're not going to be taken off guard from it, but you
All right.
are going to be attacked, and it's going to reach out to you. 1 second, what's this? Okay, something different. Okay, it's going to strike out at you. How do I target you? There we go. Going to strike out with its icy jaws, and it does a miss. And I'll say, he'll fucking try it again, dude. You never know. Oh, natural 20. Come on, give me a natural 20. Oh, almost a natural 20. I'll say that because you were prepared this time, you're able to dodge out of the way as every time the ice snake kind of takes its jaws towards you. And it is now your turn.
You know, the hero taunt from Smash Brothers where he goes dun, 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 like he bounces on.
Yes.
Alden's kind of doing it like.
The worst.
I'm gonna. Ooh, I'm gonna strike him. I'm gonna
Gonna,
strike him.
gonna whack him. Gonna whack him.
Whack it. Jesus Christ.
Oof, almost.
Oh, I used up all my luck again. Alden's getting pissed. He's just gonna keep attacking.
I just want this fucking bracelet.
Fucker!
Come on,
I'm
come on.
done. Damn it. Damn, we suck. This session is such a complete opposite as the last one. That's
I
funny.
know the last session there's so many
Oh,
natural
it's
20s, critical
whack-a-mole. Alden's
success.
playing
I know.
whack-a-mole.
Yeah, no, you both, I'll say simultaneously, it goes for a lunge, you go for a swing, and just 3 times in a row, you just completely miss each other. Maybe there's some contact made, but nothing that actually makes damage. And I'll say on the fourth lunge, the snake once again tries to attack you and then breaks into 1,000 shards of little ice. And the voice then again says, where it says, not snakes, maybe heights. And all of a sudden, the ground from within, beneath you, it feels like it just falls away. And
Uh,
you look down, and before where there was ground, and you were kind of in this dark area, suddenly it's light, and it's as if you are falling from like 100 feet in the air down onto this ground beneath you. It's like you've been teleported like 100 feet into the air. How does Alden react to that?
let me roll it. I'm gonna roll a d20 to make my decision, and if it's anything higher than a 15, nope. Alden starts fucking going. Whoa!
Screaming. Does he try and do anything to brace himself, or at all? I mean, he's
He
fallen
shuts
from
his
quite
eyes
high.
and curls up into a ball.
I will say that you feel yourself falling, and as soon as you feel like you're bracing for impact, and the impact never comes, and you just open your eyes, and you're just curled up on a ball on the ground, uh,
Ugh.
and you were never falling in the first place,
Uh,
and you hear the voice say, "It seems we are getting closer." Uh,
Anyone's afraid of heights, dumbass. Especially when they're already falling.
uh, the voice says, maybe, maybe this will work. And I'll say that you suddenly you were in, this area, and I don't have an area to actually send you to, but just this is theater of the mind. You feel around you kind of, there's these like this black swirl around you for just 1 second at the most, and all of a sudden you are not in this room any longer. You are uh, standing within uh, you are standing within the foyer of your parents' house, and you suddenly see your father. Uh, your father Franco the Fantastic, and your mother Gildred the Great.
Great.
Uh, and and you see them standing maybe 15 feet in front of an open front door, and you're kind of standing at the side, so you're seeing this all from a profile. And you see entering uh, a very young Michael, your brother, Michael the Magnificent. You see a
Yeah.
very young version of them, maybe when they're 5. And this isn't even a memory that you have, but it's as if it was a memory in front of you. And you're watching this unfold, and you see Michael run in, and you see that there's a large gold star on his chest. He's obviously won something, and he is, saying, "Look, Mom, look, Dad, look what I got!" And you see both your mother and father kind of kneel down and are just congratulating Michael. Great job, Michael, and are like holding him up. And you see that your father is holding up Michael and kind of throwing him into the air with how over ecstatic they are. Do you do anything as you see this just
Uh,
suddenly in front of you, this scene unplaying
well,
or
what
unfolding?
type of situation is it? Is Alden regressed to him as a child in this situation, or
You're
is it
as
something
tall
where
as you are
him?
right now. It's
Okay, so it's very
it
Christmas Carol-esque, where I'm sort of watching it as
as an
as an
outsider.
audience.
Yeah, there's no
Where
memory. This is no memory
Audi
you've had. Yeah.
Alden starts looking around the room and seeing if any of this registers as something he can remember, or if this is, he's looking at it just sort of
Hmm.
like what's going on, and he is looking over at his parents and his brother. Some a scene he's seen a million times of being neglected,
Hmm.
underappreciated, his brother getting the attention. Alden's kind of looking for himself.
I will say make a perception check for me as you're looking around. 21 as you're looking around the foyer. None of this is registering as a memory, but you
Uh,
do see as you're looking around on the walls there are portraits of your mother and father, which you do remember. But I'll say that even from your childhood, you remember that there were portraits of you all as a family. But I'll say with your perception check, you do notice against one of the walls, kind of like as you enter in this foyer, against the back wall, there would have been a full family portrait, and you do not see yourself in that family portrait. And that is a distinctly different
mm,
vision as you kind of recognize that this is almost some weird alternate reality where you were never born or something like that. Like you just aren't in the picture at all. Do you do anything else besides looking around? You can see that.
yeah,
Uh,
Alden says,
yeah, you go.
looks back at the family, and he goes, "What is this? You
Uh,
think I'm afraid of this?"
you see that uh, Franco, your father, is holding Michael, and it looks like he was about to start walking out the door. And Franco kind of looks towards you and says, but in the voice uh, out loud, says, "Hmm, it doesn't appear that worked." And again, this black uh, This black smoke quickly envelops you, and you are back standing in this room, and says, Alden Costello, what are you afraid of?
Nothing.
I'll,
Nothing. I'm gonna roll a diplomacy. I'm gonna roll a persuasion
yeah,
check.
try it, go for it.
Diplomacy or deception.
Deception, yeah, I like it. You do have a hero point if you want to use it.
I don't want to. I don't want to use it in this
Okay,
case.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say nothing, and even as you're saying nothing, you can feel this quiver in your voice, as if you are trying to say it with such a conviction, but you know that it's not as convincing as it could be. And you hear the voice kind of just chuckle softly to itself, but it's still this like loud, enveloping voice, and says, "Nothing, Alden. I am someone who can detect lies in an instant, and even you know that that was not truthful." And says, "I think I have found something that may work." And
Listen, I'm not here for therapy. I deal with this every night. Just give me the bracelet.
I'll say, as you are yelling this, once again the black smoke kind of goes around you, and I'll say that you see you're standing at the edge of a street within a city. This is not a city that you recognize. Uh, there are people walking down the street, kind of just you know, passing by you, but you are facing an alleyway, and you feel kind of this cold air coming from the alleyway, and it is you almost feel compelled to go down the alleyway, but you obviously don't have to if you don't want to. But what do you think Alden does? He's yelling this at this nightmare deity, you know, that he doesn't need therapy, and uh, he is now facing this alleyway within a city off of a street.
Uh, he's just gonna keep going. This isn't real. I know what you're doing. It's not real.
You are yelling that, and I'll say you don't get any response.
All right, fine. I'll play you a little game. All right, and he's gonna walk down the alleyway.
Okay. I'll say you start walking down the alleyway. There's some, trash laying around. Uh, maybe some like it smells just awful in here, and you're kind of getting away from from all the sounds of the street. It's kind of like dusk time, so it's like the sky is a little bit dark, but you don't see any uh, all the lights from the street. It starts getting darker as you kind of enter. And as you're walking down this alleyway, kind of to an offshoot to your left, you see uh, the blanket that you have used, or like the rug that you have used for so many, so many times for whenever you've tried to set up shop to on the side of the street to get, to do small little card tricks or whatever. You see sitting on a very ragged but very distinctly your rug, you see a an older man who has a large white beard. It looks like a real beard, but is
Hmm.
wearing your cloak, but it is tattered and torn in areas, and it is just kind of laying on its side, no blanket over top, kind of just curled into kind of a semi ball, just laying there.
Uh, can I just like keep walking past it, or is there nowhere to go?
It's kind of reached like the end of the alleyway, and it's kind of like this
Oh,
offshoot to the side.
I just sort of kick it.
I'll say, as you kick the body, it kind of just just leans, back. It was kind of facing you, so you kind of kick the upper body, and it kind of just half leans over, and its arms are just kind of laying at its side. It does not wake up. It's almost its face, and you can see now, even in the pale light, this the color in this face of this person you can see in the light is faded, but you can tell that it's distinctly your face, but just old.
Ugh. Um, Alden turns around and see if there's, you know, a way back down the alley. Just kind of like, ugh,
I will
it's
say,
not
uh,
gonna happen to me.
as you look back to the alley, you can see standing like 10, 15 feet in the alley, not even standing, I should say, floating maybe 10 feet off of the ground, is just a cloak, a black cloak with, the hood up, and you see no face. It's just a black face, but it's just this black cloak kind of just standing there, or floating 10, 15 feet in the air, and it is staring, and it says, "Look at him."
Uh, are you Nightmare?
Uh, the voice says, "I said, look at him."
I don't want to. I don't need to see anything. It's not me. Give me the bracelet.
I'll say that as you're kind of looking at this person, out of the peripheral of your vision, you start to see floating up the body that you had just kicked starts floating up in front of you, to kind of become into your vision as you see it's kind of just hanging there, like, it's being pulled out by its side. It's kind of just hanging in this dead, limp body as it starts to be pulled in front of you, in between you and this figure.
I kind of glance at it at the corner of my eye.
Mm. And then it starts to come into the center of your vision. Do you do anything with that, or do you look away?
I look at it.
I'll say, as you're looking at it, do you say anything as you're looking at it? Or I'll say there's a solid, like, maybe 2, 3 seconds of you just seeing an older version of your face. Just, eyes kind of slightly open, mouth kind of ajar as it's hanging to the side. A no fake beard, but a very white, full beard like the one you're wearing now, but a real one.
I go, "What is this? What is this supposed to be? Me? Supposed to be me in the future? Is that it? I end up in a back alleyway, dead, doing card tricks. That's clever. Oh yeah, that's real good. Yeah,
I'll say that the body starts to float down, and as the body floats down, you can see that the cloak is now approaching you. And the cloak says in the same deep voice, it says, "There's nothing clever about it, Alden. You are. This is your future. If you. Let me rephrase this. There's nothing clever about it, Alden. This is one of your futures. A future that you fear. A future where you end up alone, never amounting to anything, never living up to the amazing title that you have given yourself."
well, that's not going to happen because I am amazing and I won't be alone. I'm going to have 1,000 followers, all worshiping me because I am a wizard. I am a Costello.
Give me a deception check for me.
Sure, sure, sure.
I will say I'll say the voice, kind of looks at you, and the entire back alley that you're kind of standing in kind of fades away. And I will quickly do something real quick just to get it in here.
Yo, is that a Trader Joe's shirt?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Bro, can you guys hook me up with the pumpkin in a can? I'm going to make some pumpkin bread. Also, tell them to stop making their pie crust seasonal, damn it.
I'll tell them both of those things for sure.
Please.
Please. Let me do.
Wow. Circle's Yammer.
Where are you reading that?
That's what I had that dream about where oh no, it was Yammer's Circle and I
Oh,
was
yes. Yes.
going to sleep and then that just popped into my brain.
Yep.
And it wasn't something I just thought, it was something I scream thought. And it
Yep.
was so alarming that I had to wake up and text it in chat because I just needed to have some sort of written log of that happening.
I love that so much.
Yammer Circle. No
Yammer
meaning.
Circle.
It was absolutely nothing.
Yep. Let me.
Seemed to be in a vision.
Bu- 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 I'll say now in front of you, Alden. Like 10 feet in front of you. Now, this is the same vision of just the shadow that y'all fought, so. Or the shadow that
Hmm.
was fought, so don't worry about it. There is no skull, but it's just this black cloak that is floating in front of you. Now, and you're back within kind of this space where there's like the carving in the ground. Uh, and what was the last thing you said? It was
I'm a Costello.
oh, you're a Costello, exactly. Everything fade, all the fades around, and says, the voice says to you, "Do you know that you are deceiving yourself?
No, because I'm not.
How many followers do you have now?"
Uh, it's a work in progress, but I'm just starting. I'm only 36.
You see the voice. It's kind of just, it starts just floating there, and it does not say anything more. It's kind of just, it's quite still. Like, I mean, like there's maybe some slight movement in the back of the cloak, but it is sitting there after you say that. It doesn't respond to you.
How long does it just stay silent?
How long is Alden willing to wait through the silence?
Gives it like 30 seconds before he breaks, I think, and he goes something along the lines of like, "Fine, fine. Is that what you want to hear? Yeah, I'm not a real wizard. All right, fine. Yeah, I was a shitty student. I had shitty parents that made me be something I didn't want to be. Is that what you want me to hear? Yes,
Uh,
I'm afraid of failure because I've been failing all my life. Now just give me the fucking bracelet."
I will say, uh, the the cloak starts to kind of go down to the ground, and now where it is kind of at your eye level.
I
Uh,
rush it.
you rush it, okay.
No, I don't. How do I drag my? There we go. I just say, "Give me the bracelet. Just give me the bracelet.
Do you walk
I'm
up
done.
to
I
it?
get it. All right, I'm
How
done.
do you
I
do it?
suck. All right, just give me the bracelet."
Uh, the cloak just kind of is standing in front of you, or just floating right in front of you at your eye level. And it says, "You do not suck, Alden Costello. I show you this fear of yours. And you hear the voice kind of do this deep sigh, which, you don't, it's very strange hearing because it's this disembodied voice. And you don't, it's has this commanding voice within this room, this ever-present room, but it does the sigh and it says, I tell you this, Alden Costello, because I am living that fear of yours. And it, from within the cloak, from within one of the folds out, uh, pops this small uh, bracelet. A bracelet that is obviously meant for the wrist of uh, someone who's small. And it's this small bracelet kind of just goes and floats out from the cloak and is now just kind of like a foot in front of the cloaked figure, probably like a good like 3 feet in front of you, and says, I can sense that you have the glow of the sunlight witch around you, yes.
Yeah, I do, and I go for the bracelet, kind of grabbing it.
Okay. I'll say that you are able to grab it out of the air. You
Uh,
just are standing there with the bracelet in your head now.
kind of grab it, make sure I got it. Does he say anything else?
It's kind of just, you kind of grab it and you wait for a second, and it doesn't look like he's saying anything.
Uh, can I go?
The voice says, if you'll indulge me, I would like to tell you something before you go.
All right.
It says, so I'm assuming that Vaku sent you here to collect the bracelet, and she did not want to come herself then.
Yeah, she said it was something. I can't go here. I don't know. I can
Kind
see
of
why though. This sucks.
the cloak head kind of looks down for a moment, and then looks back up you and says, I don't know if you would believe it, but before Vaku and I were deities, we were partners in life.
Uh,
More than partners, lifelong partners.
uh,
And it kind of just
she
pauses
did
there for a
say
moment.
she did say she wanted the bracelet because a lover gave it to her. But you know what? I don't know. I kind of just want to go at this point. Kind of pissed me off a little bit. So yeah, I kind of get the gist.
And what is the gist?
I don't know. You had a falling out or something. You know, you seem good at making people address their problems. So maybe you can figure yours out.
I'll say that the cloak once again sighs and says, what I was hoping, Alden, is that you could help me solve it.
Why the fuck would I do that?
Because the cloak kind of pauses for a moment and says, because that fear that you have of ending up alone is what I have been for far too long.
Hmm.
And I believe that I can help you in perhaps gaining those followers that you so desperately want.
Hmm. What do I have to do?
The cloaked figure, the cloak kind of just comes towards you like just a foot, like not close to you, but like a foot more, and says, I would like for Vaku to come here and see me again.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to convince her to do that. Do you have anything? that would goad her into coming down here?
The cloak kind of looks to the side a little bit and says, "I was hoping in I was hoping in stealing the bracelet that she would come and get it herself. But," looks back towards you, "it appears that she found you to come and get it anyway."
How badly do you think she really wants it?
She said, it kind of pauses and says, "I stole that bracelet in specific because I think it's the most valuable thing she owns.
And when did you steal it?
I stole it recently when she was not home, and her home was occupied by some
Yeah, Yetis, I killed them.
individuals."
Uh, Listen, kind of pissed you, did all that shit to me. I just, came down here to grab that. But, to prove you wrong, that, I'm not gonna die alone, that I am amazing. Yeah, I'll help you out if it means getting some followers, but from that point on, I don't want to do with you anymore. But how about this? You send me back up there, and I tell her what you just told me. I won't bring the bracelet with me. And I just kind of toss it back to him.
As soon as you toss it at him, it kind of just floats in midair as soon as it gets near to him. And they say, uh, "Unfortunately, she already knows everything I just told you."
What the fuck? Then what?
Uh, it kind of just, it doesn't
Listen, if she doesn't
respond
want
to
to
you.
see you, she doesn't want to see you. I don't know what to tell you, man.
They, the cloak kind of just says, "Can you please try? This is all that I need."
All right, but I want this instead. You deal with nightmares,
Yes,
right? All right. If I get her down here, I don't want to have another single stupid dream about my dumb brother and my dumb family ever again.
the cloak kind of nods its head slowly and says, "That can be
Wait,
arranged."
wait. I'm going back. I'm going. Hang on. I don't want to. No, that's fine. I see them all the time. They're annoying, but whatever. I don't want to have to deal with that fucking Drake guy, whatever his name was from class anymore.
Drank was his name.
Drank. No more drank dreams. I don't need that.
I'll say, the cloak will say, "If you are able to convince Vaku to come down here, then you will never have another nightmare about a drank again."
All right. Deal. Now let me out of here.
Says, they say, "You are free to go."
Thank God. Dick. And I walk away.
As soon as you turn around, you can see that very faintly in the distance there is
Yeah.
a light uh, as you are able to exit the cave.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I take a lot of inspiration from Rusty Venture from the Venture Brothers with Alden.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever watched that show, but the gist of it is his character, his dad was a super scientist, just an absolute prodigy in every field, but neglected his son super hard while also forcing all these incredible expectations on
Mm-hmm.
his mentally abused kid, and it's created an incredibly strong inferiority complex with the present Doctor Venture. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch it before I came up with Alden, but after watching it,
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of been
It
the
just fits like
basis
a
for a
puzzle,
lot
yeah.
of Alden's denialism and self-loathing, and yeah, basically just what's the word? Self-sabotage. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that you're the way you're describing it, I'm like that sounds like Alden. So
Um, but yeah, all right, Alden. It's I gotta stop here, but
yeah, no, yeah, I'll say that's where we'll
Alden
end the
will go back
session.
up to the cliff and then just see if Vaku's there.
Hmm. Awesome.